you who are here with us, but for those people who will watch this video later, n-ost is a European journalistic network. The media NGO has a focus on Eastern Europe and is committed to cross-border and multi-perspective reporting. n-ost connects journalists and media, supports research and provides trainings, and we have our office in Berlin, Kreuzberg. More information actually you can find in our annual report from the year 2023, which was published recently. It contains also information about our focus areas or budget or specific content of the project. Take a look if you're interested on what's happening within n-ost. And we have also our project been a part of this organization or this team, which is History Unit Reframing Queer Narratives in Media. And this project addresses the responsibility of media for the spread of homophobic and transphobic narratives under Nazism. And in today's political realities, we have 4 project countries: Belarus, Germany, Poland, and Ukraine. And that means that people from these 4 countries had the right to participate in our events, our programs. This project is supported by the German foundation FLZ. And it's not just us, not just n-ost and unit team who were responsible for everything what had happened and will happen within the project, but also our amazing partners. And I want to introduce them now. And let's start with Human Constant, our partner from Belarus. Please, could you share a few words about what was your role and, yeah, what was happening?
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Sweet. So I'm still Valis, if you know me. For those who doesn't, yeah, hello. I'm one of the co-founders and members of the human rights organization Human Constanta, and we were founded in Belarus, but now all of us are in exile, but we continue to do our job. We have 5 main areas, and if you want to know more, I can share later about it. But about our participation in this project, when Vika invited us to think about potential cooperation, he shared with her colleagues, they shared an idea to run an international project with focus on the persecution of queer people, and we decided to start from very specific period of time. And why? Because we see, unfortunately, we observe, and we try to tackle the persecution of queer people nowadays in many countries. And for example, in our the 4 main focus countries. So yeah, because we believe that queer rights are human rights, and we believe that they should be defended, and we would like to be a part of it. And we know something, we can invite people, we can add our perspective from human rights. This is why we are here, because we believe in cooperation and in necessity of tackling all these anti-human and misanthropic ideas and actions. This is it.
Short and clear as always. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And now I would like to give a word to our another partner who represents the Ukrainian side, Juliana Skibitska.
Hi guys, I'm very happy to see you. And I need to introduce myself. So I'm Juliana Skibitska, a journalist and editor from Ukraine, and also an individual partner in this project. So some about me. I'm working in journalism 12 years, and during a long time, my specific topics were about human rights, especially LGBTQ rights and women rights. So that's why I think that I have such kind of expertise in this question. In this project, I was I am. In this project, I am a responsible person for journalistic part. I try to be an assistant and mentor to our participant, try to help them with topics, with their future materials, try to share how to make these future materials more deep, more interesting, more strong, how to find the focus which can represent the global topic of our project about past and present and homophobic situation with LGBTQ community, etc. And also, I was very happy to read and watch all your materials. It was very interesting for me and also very important. I think that this journalistic part of our program is very crucial for us. And I want to share you one example from my life. When the war between Russia and Ukraine began in February 2022, I remember that I was very disappointed in my job and generally in journalism. I thought that it doesn't have sense because we could not prevent the most horrible scenes in the world now. War, I think it's the most horrible scene. But then I understand that it was very stupid opinion because we, like a journalist, we try to show the situation and we try to change the situation in our country and in our countries, I mean. And I understand that that's why Ukraine, like a country, tried to build another way. The way is democratic, not dictator, the way of country which can be very friendly to all genders, to all peoples, etc. So that's why our job is very important. And I think that our journalistic part is very important. And also it was very interesting for me to join this project like an organizer, not like a participant, because during long time I was in another back and I join such kind of projects only like a participant. So it's very interesting experience for me now. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. We had one more person and one more organization involved. Unfortunately, they're not with us just because they finished their participation in our project, but these people still exist and you can meet them somehow, somewhere, probably. I want to remind or to share that we had 2 workshops this year, one of them this summer in Poland, another one this autumn in Germany. We had altogether 39 people participated from 4 project countries. And I hope both this theoretical part and then practical part helps us all to analyze the past and to reflect on the future. And in a few minutes, we will find the exact ways people decided to do it. There will be individual presentations. We will meet these people who were developing the researchers, the topic. We will hear some information about their motivation, their interest, or whatever else they will decide to share with us. And they will have not max than 5 minutes for all this. And please, no questions, no questions. We want to start with just this 5 minutes presentation to give each person their right to talk and to present. And later we will have possibility to dive into the discussion. We will also try to be strict with the timekeeping. And now I want to ask Pavel to make it real. Please send us a link. Let's make it real. So the publications are online, available in the English version and also in the original versions, which can be found under the links. If you will find any bugs, please inform us. It's okay, it's possible. We know that it's difficult to be perfect, even when you try to be. We will fix them. Yes, please share if you'll find something. And now I want to give the word to Marta, who will help us to facilitate this meeting and this discussion. Please, dear Marta, the floor is yours.
Thank you. So I will not just try to be strict with the timing, I will be strict with the timing. And before I start, maybe just some quick words, because of course we've introduced the single organizations that are involved, but I still wanted to name every one of us with their names, because it's not just Valdis at Human Constanta, but we also have Katja, who's also with us here. And of course, we have at n-ost also Pavel, who you all have been communicating with, who is our technical head, our social media head, and I'm super happy to have all of us here. And then there's me as well, but I've seen all of you, I've written with all of you. I'm happy to have all of you back here, I think. Sorry, I muted myself. I hope I don't need to introduce myself, because now we would start with the introductions, with the short presentations of your projects. I've seen that we not just have people with presentations among us, but also people from our second workshop. And I'm very happy that you're interested in joining us and to see what people have been working on, because this is what this project is also about, connecting people and, yeah, maybe broadening these whole projects and collaborations. So we've got several projects today, all about connected topics, but still very different focuses. Some of them are more historic, some of them are more speaking about present struggles or situations of queer communities in our project's countries. And my idea was to structure this in a way that we go from past to present, because that way we can somehow move along to see what has happened and to see what we're making out of this. And the very first person who will be presenting, I hope, is Sarah. Sarah, maybe some words about you. If you want to add anything, please do so. I would just say you've been working on a radio piece and an article on queer people and Holocaust, and that's something that you have been known for. You're a very experienced podcaster for different media, not just in the Netherlands, but also Germany, also English speaking. And I'm very curious about your project and how it has been going. So I will start my timer now, and you're free to talk for.
Okay, hi everybody. I'm very happy to see you all again. I'm so happy to see all your faces. Hi. So yeah, Vika said finish line. I'm not entirely there yet. I've done my part. The publications have not the results yet, but I will share my notes with you. So yeah, indeed. Originally the plan was that I would create one radio piece of 30 minutes that in the end was splitted. I have created one radio piece and one article. The radio piece is for a historical podcast format called Zeitfragen by Deutschlandfunk, which is one of the biggest national broadcasters in Germany. The length is about 6 minutes. Overall, it is about queer people in concentration camps. We have decided with the editorial team that we will not use the term queer people in the Holocaust, as the term Holocaust refers to the Jewish people and the Jewish tribe specifically, which is also partly included in my radio piece, as some of the prosecuted people were Jewish as well. But we have decided to title it, I think, Gay Men in the Times of Fascism in Germany or something like that. I'm also happy to share the results with you once it's published, and we have timed it to go online for the International Holocaust Memorial Day, which is in the end of January. The content of the radio piece, which is about 6 minutes, I think I already said that, is queer people in concentration camps, the persecution of queer people, specifically gay men, also based on the explanation of the existence of paragraph 175 So indeed, it focuses mostly on gay men, as those were mentioned in the paragraph. But I also refer to lesbian women. I explain the different triangles. This is also how lesbian women come into place into my piece. And I also speak about different sexual identities on the spectrum who at that point did not exist, but of course were also prisoners and victims of the violence of the Third Reich. What I've used for the radio piece, as you might remember, I was that annoying person running around with that, what my friend calls a mysterious spying device. So I was the person walking around with the recorder, and I have used parts of the ambience of the Auschwitz memorial site. You might remember when we entered, there were the names mentioned of the victims. That was used. I've used parts of what the guide said, mostly that he gave me a different number of victims than there actually were. I've used parts of our meeting with Joanna Ostrowska, and I interviewed another historian who focuses on the history of gay men in Nazi times in Germany. I have to speed up a bit. The article will be published also by the end of January for the Holocaust Memorial Day. At a Christian magazine, which exists in print and online. It's called Publik-Forum. The article is 12,000 characters. It is also about queer people during the Holocaust. Again, I'm explaining the article 175 and the different triangles. Additionally, I have used the book The Man with the Pink Triangle by Heinz Heger to also include the real life stories and biographies of victims of the Third Reich. And in addition, I also used the book Erinnern in Auschwitz, Remembrance in Auschwitz by Joanna Ostrowska, because she includes different biographies as well. And this was specifically done as the magazine did not only want the historical facts and the paragraph and the legal background, but especially for the audience to connect. They also wanted the human factor with the real life experience of those who have survived or those who unfortunately have not. That's it from my side.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's very interesting how you managed to bring us, or me at least, bring me already back to this workshop that we had and the experience that we had. So I'm sure we will be talking about this afterwards in the discussion. So thanks a lot for the insight in your work that you've been working on. I think one very matching working process that kind of follows the idea, the topics that you're tackling is the project from Olga and Juri. So we had this collaboration of these two fantastic people who decided to also work on this historic topic, also work on narratives of queer lives in these times, but also about remembrance culture and also about this whole narrative part and this whole meta level of memorial sites, of what's happening there now. And in the end, and you're very invited to correct me if I'm not presenting this right, but in the end, this led to two different projects which are still connected and based on this common idea in the beginning. But we asked Olga and Juri to maybe present their projects that they ended up with individually, because Juri is also looking very much into today's situation of Sachsenhausen and how today's far-right extremists also challenge these sites today, while Olga is speaking more about queer dimension of Holocaust and history, but also in a second article about sex slavery in Auschwitz. So we've got this more historic look, even though both are connected with this whole narrative part. I hope you're happy with this distinction. If you want to correct me, please do so. Otherwise, I would ask you, Olga, to start with your 5-minute presentation, and then Juri can join you afterwards for their 5 minutes. So please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Marta. I'm also happy to see everyone. And I'm grateful to the team and to all the people who participated in this wonderful workshop for this opportunity and for many things that I think this this workshop gave me. Speaking about the projects, I think it actually depends on how we define the project. Because I think, like, for me, maybe even not the publication itself mattered so much, but also the process of receiving knowledge, exchanging knowledge and expertise, asking questions, being able to discuss the things that each of us were reading about, and just like to know that there is a person in our tandem like whom I can contact and share, you know, also my thoughts about German media and my thoughts about like other things that we experience together. Because, for example, also following the initial plan, we visited Okerman concentration camp, or like a re-education center that still hasn't been recognized or like classified as concentration camp. And despite the fact that, for example, like no specific article has been produced based on this visit, but then again, the idea of traveling there and spending like all day together on the way and like really approaching the place, being there, photographing it, talking about it, reading about it. I think this is also like one important component of this type of exchanges. And I think I would not go deeper into the materials that I produced, and Juri will talk for themselves. But I really wanted to articulate one more time the importance of this type of workshops and collaborations and so on. For me, any project, any workshop can be considered to be successful when after the offline event is over, people continue being in touch and they continue supporting each other through questions, reflections, and each, you know, like developing their own research line, journalistic direction, and so on. So for me, as someone who is new in Berlin, it was really amazing to start feeling a little bit like baby steps a part of journalistic community that shares the same values and interests. And also, I think like having the idea of a common project together as a starting point, it grew for me into something that is much, much more wider and that really had the further development into other activities that we did together. So it's not a secret that we've just returned from Warsaw, where we visited the opening of queer museum, and each of us are also planning to write more about it. So then again, coming to the idea, what is a project? So sometimes project is not very much about let's meet the deadline and so on, but just like cultivating your own interest, exchanging and knowing that there are people who share your values in terms of research and in terms of continuing to tackle the issues related to this uncomfortable, traumatic past of common Europe. Yeah, and like very briefly, so like I wrote an article based like focusing on the queer Holocaust voices, namely lesbian part or lesbian dimension. This article was produced in Belarusian and then translated into English, and with the help of Juri translated into German. So like it appeared in 3 different media. And in terms of like the article, like the initial article, which was in Belarusian, so it grew a little bit like even bigger. So it split into 2 dimensions and appeared in Hukanne media, like in 2 separate texts. Also, I produced infographics that was also published in English and in Belarusian and also appeared online. And I think I'm planning to continue writing and continue applying for other grants that are provided by n-ost, because I really feel that this is something that I need, and this is something where I can realize my research and journalistic potential.
Thank you very much. That's of course the nicest thing to hear for us. No, but I'm very happy that you're saying this, and I think it's also interesting what you've been working on, and also getting a behind the scenes look on how and with whom. So, Juri, do you have anything to add on this?
Hi. First of all, I'm very touched by your words, Olga. And I'm really thankful for the workshop that you brought us all together and for, what we've created together. I just want to say it again, that for me it was very special to be in a group that was working so well together already on site and then also afterwards. So thanks to everyone. If you have questions about like our visit to the former Uckermark youth concentration camp, maybe we can discuss it in the discussion afterwards, because I remember that several of you were interested in that topic. But maybe I will use the 5 minutes to explain a little why my research and writing then took a little bit of another direction. All my publications were and will be published in Taz. That's like a big leftist newspaper, daily newspaper in Germany. And actually, from our way back to the camp in Uckermark, I decided to make a stop and with the train and go to an event that was organized by the Memorial of Sachsenhausen. And it was all in those days of the elections happening in 3 federal states in Eastern Germany. And so on the way back from Uckermark, when I was still thinking, what will I write now? Which approach will I choose? I went to this event. And that was in Oranienburg. It's a small town about an hour from Berlin. And there, the second Christopher Street Day was about to happen the day before the elections in Brandenburg, that's the federal state. And what was very special to me was that the memorial site in Sachsenhausen decided to make an event of remembrance of the queer prisoners that were murdered in Sachsenhausen, trying to connect remembrance with the celebration of queer life today. And also what was special for me was that the memory site plus their director, Axel Drekol, worked very closely together with the local queer community and also supported them in their demonstration. Like they were actively seeking links to the contemporary political discourse. And this event took place in a politically tense climate. Maybe some of you have read about it, that there is like a rise in, or a big rise in the far-right movement, as in parties, but also as in far-right activism against different groups. Sorry, somehow I feel like I'm losing it a bit, and I'm already running on 3 minutes. Give me a second to. Okay, I'll cut it a bit. So queer people and queer demonstrations have become a major mobilization target for the extreme right over the past years. And also in Oranienburg, that place that I just mentioned, far-right extremists had announced an anti-queer counter-protest for this pride that was supposed to happen. And in the end, only 40 Nazis came to Oranienburg. But for me, doing this reporting on Sachsenhausen and Oranienburg was a continuation of my reporting that I had already done in August in Bautzen and Radebeul, which was not a part of the grant project, but I was in Bautzen and Radebeul, and maybe some of you saw the images from Bautzen Pride, where 700 like really violent neo-Nazis from all over Germany arrived for a counter demonstration, and the local police was really not prepared for this scale of threat. And in my view, the worst violence was only prevented because of anti-fascist groups from various places who came together to provide additional security for the demonstration. And one thing that I took away from these different experiences that is relevant for our question of reframing queer narratives in media is that the feedback from these organizers of prides in rural areas was that the press is only coming when neo-Nazi attacks are anticipated, and these are the images that are dominating in the coverage, and that no one asks about the content of the organizers' work, actually. And in my writing, I tried to foreground the political visions of the people who remain active despite these threats. But still, I see a structural issue that national media outlets like Taz, for example, mostly based in Berlin, won't send reporters to every one of all these prides happening in the countryside. Yeah, and this is maybe a question that is also interesting for other contexts of like the rural-urban divide and the covering of that. Yeah, and on the bright side, we went to the opening of the Queer Museum in Warsaw, what Olga already mentioned, and my text about this will be published next week, also in Taz. I think I'm over the time, so maybe I will talk about that in the question round if you still have questions. Thanks.
Thank you. Yes, thank you very much. I think you already touched some issues that I would love to dive into deeper later on in the discussion. And some of these, I would say, continue the discussions we were already also having during our workshop. So thank you very much for already bringing these up. I think I'm trying to find a good turn now because you already said, maybe you already started speaking about the bright side of going to the opening of the Queer Museum. And I think we are also speaking about reframing narratives, finding voices. And I think that's something that the team from Eastern Queerope did very, very well and very, very nicely. And I think there's two of you here. It's Emanuela and who's here, Dasha as well, right? So I would ask you to maybe tell us something about your projects and what you've been doing, because I would say that's, yeah, you've very actively tried to reframe some narratives and yeah, find some spaces for biographies that haven't been heard so much in the past. So maybe, yeah, you find your 5 minutes and
Thank
go
you.
ahead.
Is it okay if we share a presentation, because
Yes,
we are like
sure.
kind of a visual team?
So yes, I think
yeah.
Pavel will have to allow you to present. Now you're
Now you
co-host,
should
now you can
I
present.
think
have the
we can,
Great.
but tell me if you can see something.
Not yet. But hey, everyone. So good to see you too.
And now?
Oh, yeah, I think we
Yes.
got it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we got it. And as Marta already said, we took this quite different aim for reframing queer narratives in media, because we focus more on the transborder part of the unit workshop, started thinking what actually connects us as queer people from Eastern Europe, but also what would we like to anticipate maybe. And we realized that it is the part about the very westernized, very Western Europe, very American context that is running the narratives about queerness, not only in media, but also when we talk about queer history, which is very Stonewall, right? And about everything that is resolving around it. We don't have any background and a lot of knowledge about the queerness in Eastern Europe itself. If we know some figures, usually there is just a few, and these are more popular queer stories and the ones that are known by quite a few people, but still not everyone. So we thought we would like to hit it with some, well, maybe a little bit less known, but exciting histories. And I think we can skip the slides. I don't know if you already follow us, but if you do, it's your chance to do so. Thank you very much. So we started with creating 10 short videos or posts, mostly in English, but also in Belarusian and Polish with the English subtitles, because we wanted it to be, well, not only
for people from Eastern Europe, but for everyone to be able to use it. But still, most of our audience is from Poland, Belarus, Ukraine, quite a few people from Hungary, from Romania, etc. And it's quite nice actually, because like 2 months ago, I was at the ILGA Europe conference running a workshop. It was in Romania, and as you do while we were running the workshop, I started telling a little bit about me and what I do and what are my current interests. And I started saying about this archive that I am using now for the Eastern Queerope project. And like 2 people in the room were like, Eastern Queerope, it's yours. I like it so much. It's such a good idea. So I was like, oh my God. And it's quite funny because we have like around 800 followers overall on our 2 platforms, but still it's like 300 something people on Instagram. So I didn't expect it to be recognized by anyone, but I was like, well, okay, good work. Yeah, so we wanted to stage the importance of the of giving different context to the queer history in general. And it gives back not only in meeting people that are saying that it's a good job, but also in the comments, because we have quite a lot of comments. It's about 250 of them. And I think we reached over like 20,000 people with our content in general. But also we have propositions of co-working together, and we already started networking. We had cooperation with Tekath from Belarus, but also we are going to cooperate with the theater from Krakow that is doing the spectacle about Eve Adams that we also created content about. So we would work with them and create some materials together. And maybe I'll let Dasha speak a little bit as well.
Yeah, I can just
it's...
add just a bit of, I don't know, I like numbers and visuals. Yeah, you can see something here if you're also interested in numbers. It's really nice, especially about our, like, as Manu said, about people who follow us and interact in some way with this content, because it feels like we are doing something important, not only for us and you, but for different people from different countries. Yes, so this is our some kind of statistics. I don't know what, yeah, subscribe please one more time. Because actually Manu said the main aspects of everything. We are just very happy and grateful to participate in this meeting and overall in projects with n-ost unit. We will continue to work with you, and it's really a pleasure for us. And also greetings from Ula. They are not physically with us now, but they are in our minds and hearts. So yeah, greetings for you.
Thank you very much. And say hi to Ula from us as well. Thank you very much. It's already impressive just after these first 3 or 4 project rounds to see what different approaches you had to this general stipend idea that we gave you. And I'm very, very happy to see all these different topics that you cover and all these different formats that you use. Speaking about different topics, so next one would be Artur. Artur has been working also on, well, more or less on Poland, but in general on the role that Catholicism has in, well, queer life in Poland now, and to what extent the stereotype of Catholicism complicating queer life now in Poland, to what extent it's actually holding up or not. So I'm curious on what you bring us. So please, Artur, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. First of all, can you hear me well? Great. I will not hopefully take too much of your time, but first and foremost, I really want to say thanks to all people involved in the stipend for giving that idea and framework to work with. And I really hope that there will be also other opportunities for all of us to collaborate mutually and also to implement some other cool projects and ideas. And thanks to all the colleagues who worked on the projects for the stipend, those who presented their projects before me and those who will be after me with their presentations, because it takes so much effort and we all have our own other obligations. And it's really very impressive to see your incredible work. If we talk about the projects that I did, as Martha mentioned, I've decided to focus on the stereotype of Poland being so-called the most Catholic country of Europe. And first and foremost, I wanted to find an answer for myself, whether it's true and which intersection do the Catholicism and queer movement have in Poland, and how this intersection actually plays out in that country. So as a result of that, we've got 3 articles. The first one is dealing more with the analytical side of things, where I presented some essential information about the topic, because the article is intended mainly for the audience that is not that knowledgeable about the topic. So I tried to scratch the surface a little bit. And the next 2 pieces that I wrote were the interviews, one with the Ukrainian queer person living in Poland and another one with a Belarusian queer person living in Poland. The Ukrainian interview has been already published, and the Belarusian interview is pending. It's already ready, and we are waiting for its final publication this week. All of these 3 articles are published at Nash Vybir media outlet, which is like the biggest diaspora, the biggest Ukrainian diaspora media outlet in Poland. That is not queer specified, but it's definitely a good outlet to talk about such things. And on the finishing note, I would like to say that these articles have got different impressions. They sparked a debate in the social media, despite not having maybe very large numbers yet. We are working on the promotion at that moment of these materials, but still, I value these materials a lot, and they actually tapped the unknown territory for me personally, and I would love to work on more projects related to the topic, and maybe to look for some deeper dimensions of that topic too. I really loved doing these interviews. I really loved exploring this topic and the questions. And the special value that one of these materials has for me is that actually the Ukrainian queer person interviewed used that to do the coming out to their family. And in the latter comment, they told me that it was such a helpful tool for them to do that. And actually the coming out really went well, and the family of the character really accepted that person's identity. And I think this tops for me all other impressions and all other things that are equally important about that project. I think that if you have any questions or anything else to add regarding that, I will be happy to answer them in the Q&A session. Thank you one more time, and congrats once again with doing an incredible project.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's always nice to hear these small stories that are actually big stories behind these projects that you're all doing. So I would definitely also agree on congratulating to all of you. So thank you very much. Now we've already been speaking about Germany, we've been speaking about Poland, we've been speaking about the history, we've been speaking about different contexts, we've been speaking about different regions that are somehow connected, but are still, even though they share some history, are still bring their own specifics. And the next project is taking a look at the perspective of a person who's in exile in Warsaw, who's originally from Belarus. And that's the project by Cristina Grekova, who won't be with us today, but we've got a small presentation of the project, which is a short video. So we will first see the trailer of this video, and then afterwards have a small greeting video from Cristina. So let's have a look at this. And if you want to watch this film, I think Pavel will also share the link. It's mute, so maybe. It has been working before, so it will be working now. Let's just have a short moment.
Ти просто нормального хуя не бачила, да, або щось таке. Ось, бачила, знаете. Каспер каже, ты что, гомофобка? Курица не птица, баба не режиссер. На что я как бы отказываю, я не режиссер, я режиссерка. Один из таких знаных, ведомых режиссеров белорусских сказали, вот вам что, ну вы тут поиграетесь там, в свою режиссуру, типа женскую. Мастацтва не може існувати поза межами того, що відбувається у світі. Улічуючи депресію, яку я маю, то гэта вельмі складана, то бок вельмі складана сабраць сябе і пачаць чымсьці займацца. Хуй знает, ну, не справляюсь. Ты просто нормально. Hi, I'm Cristina, and I was participant in the program Queer's Narrative, Reframe Queer's Narrative in July. It was in Auschwitz and Krakow. Unfortunately, I can't be with you right now because I have a performance after 1 hour and I'm preparing for it. As a part of the program, I made a documentary story about Belarusian artists and bisexual women in exile. Her name Alina. She lives in Warsaw. She lives in Warsaw, and at the moment create video. She preparing her musical clip, musical video. This is personal story about women, about bisexual women and bisexual women in exile, about her joys, about her difficult. Honestly, migration, exile sucks. Migration is really hard, especially when you have been depressed. And I'm really glad that I was able talk more about it and highlight the story from this side, because you know, when you are a bisexual person, you have additional problem in community. When you are artist in exile, you have additional problem in your life with the work, with the work. When you have depression, you have additional problem with your life, you know. And thank you, unit program, that give me opportunity to do this story. And I hope you can watch this episode on YouTube. Maybe you can watch the teaser after this video. I don't know. Thank you so much for this. And sorry for I not with you right now, but you can text me if you want about episode, about collaboration. So with all, ciao, do zobaczenia, bye bye.
I would say thank you, well, not anonymously, but without Cristina being present. But I highly recommend you watching this film. It's very nicely done. And Pavel just posted the link, so please have a look. I think this project already touches topics of well, what does it mean to be queer in today's life in certain circumstances, like being in exile, being forced to live in a different place. Yes, all these things that Cristina was already mentioning. And I think this already builds a bridge to our very last project, which is by Anna Holishevska, who is based in Ukraine and who actually covered 3 different stories about queer people living in Ukraine right now, and what it actually means to live in what does it mean to be a queer person living in wartime in Ukraine right now. So please, Anna, the floor is yours.
Yeah, hello. I'm glad to see everyone, and I wrote a little text about the materials. I wrote the 3 reports in the fall about how queer people live in Ukrainian cities. I analyzed the current problems of queer people in Zaporizhia, Kharkiv, and Uzhhorod. All of them were published in the online media outlet Hromadske, in English and Ukrainian, of course. The first text I wrote was about queer people living in Zaporizhia. It was difficult because the city is very noisy because of air raids. I talked to NGOs that help LGBT people and helped queer people move from the frontline city at the beginning of the war. I interviewed queer people Mind and Olga. Mind lived for some time in the occupied Donetsk region. He told me that queer people in Zaporizhia have the opportunity to go for museums and culture events, to move freely around the city. He did not feel this in occupied Donetsk. I wrote my second text from Kharkiv. It is a frontline city. In this city, NGOs also helped queer people to live under fire. In Kharkiv, I talked to a non-binary person from the United States. At the beginning of the war, she moved to Ukraine and joined the armed forces. She said that her colleagues know about her status and it was okay for them. But there were also those who joked with Evelyn because she was from the LGBT community. I wrote the third text about queer people who live in Uzhhorod. The city borders on Slovakia. That's why activities helped queer people cross the border during the war. I talked to a transgender girl named Kaya. She and her sick mother fled from shell and rocket attacks in Kharkiv. The girl was helped to evacuate. In Uzhhorod, she was met by organizations that help LGBT people. Now she lives in Berlin with her sick mother. I also read about the shelter for LGBT people provided by the organization Gender Stream. At the beginning of the war, activists opened a space for hundreds of LGBT people who were left homeless by Russia. People stayed in the shelter from a few days to several months. Later, the organization opened shelter for LGBT people in Slovakia. I enjoyed working with the materials, so I am grateful to n-ost for giving me this opportunity, and thank you, Juliana, Vika, Marta, and Artur for your support.
Thank you very much. Yes, and thank you to each and every one of you. I'm very happy and really, really excited to see what has come out of this first round of stipends. And it's just amazing to see these projects coming into life, to see these people connecting with each other. And I've seen this with really all of you, how many of you have been in contact, in touch with each other, how there have been so many nice, just connections that have been made. And I'm very happy to see this. And yeah, I want to definitely give back this thank you that you just said to each and every one of you. So thank you all very much, because it's also the participants that we need for creating such a great space as this workshop and this whole round of stipends has been. So thank you very much. Of course, I have prepared some questions or some guidelines for this discussion, but I think there might be some questions from some of you. I know that some of you already wanted to speak a lot more than they just did. So please feel invited to maybe raise your questions that might have come up over the past 45 minutes, or any comments that you might have to anyone. Is there anything that any of you would like to tell us, ask us, anyone of these projects? Please go ahead. Or if you still need a moment to, Pavel, we have you. Go ahead.
I would like to ask a question to the people who have been working with the topic of memory culture in Germany and with Germany. We have a rubric in this issue. It is called Right Turn, and that is where we put one of your articles, Juri, your article. Do you think that right turn is a term that can be applied to current German social reality? You know, that it's part of it. What would you say it? Would you name it like this? Because I think we tend to sometimes in journalism there is this tendency to overblow some events and to increase a reader's interest, and I'm wary not to do that. What do you think is right term, a right turn, a right term?
But is the question, is right turn the right term for describing the political climate in Germany, or is it the right headline for my article? Because I think that's two different things. I would say in Germany we definitely have a far-right turn at the moment that shows on different levels, so I guess that's accurate. But I think maybe picking up what the protagonists shared with me, I think it's important also to not only make the headlines about the right-wing activities, but also to show what the people who are fighting against it are doing in their day-to-day life. So maybe it's a question of what this rubric wants to show.
So maybe anti-fascism would be more accurate as a term applied to your article.
Yeah, I tried in my articles to not focus so much on the Nazis because they already get like so much online space with their hate, that I wanted to turn this around a little bit. And also, I mean, I went to those specific Pride demonstrations only for a few days, but it would be also very important to cover how these organizations are fighting against the far right in the day-to-day, because like many queer youth centers, etc., are being attacked just in the day-to-day. And so it would also be important to not only cover it when the prides are happening, actually. But yeah, as I said, there is kind of the structural problem of how will queer and leftist media finance people to go to these places. And then there's also a security question that might also be of interest for other contexts on like, how can you actually go alone as a journalist in these days to demonstrations where so many Nazis are present?
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. I would invite Sarah to ask or tell or whatever.
So this is just my personal opinion, but I understand that you want this term to also work in English, I assume, right? Or did you just translate it now for the meeting and you're going with the German term, actually?
No, if you have an alternative translation, by all means, share one.
Yeah, because my gut feeling is more like it is not fully grasping the entire problem of it. And what I mean by that is when you say right turn, it sounds a bit like something that unexpectedly happened overnight, something that just happened from 0 to 100 and nobody saw it coming, like someone unexpectedly taking a turn, which has not been the case. Like Germany has not, and other European countries have not become all of a sudden very conservative, extreme right overnight. This was always there. The situation is more that now it's more socially acceptable to say these things out loud in public. So I would probably suggest something like right shift or shift to the right or something like that, because this is not a new phenomenon. This is not someone just turning all of a sudden. This is just something that has already been lurking in the background, that was always there in the dark, and now it's just more visible. That's just my 2 cents.
That's a great point. Thank you so much.
Thanks for this addition. I think this also brings up these questions that we have been raising throughout the workshop of, I'm instantly thinking about propaganda, about the role of media, about narratives again, which is a topic that has also been inside of all of your projects, kind of. So I think this is one of the important things that we try to do with these workshops, to also make people reflect on their role, maybe as journalists dealing on these issues. I see Vika has a comment there. So please, Vika, go ahead.
That's a bit of a new topic. Is it okay?
It's okay, go ahead.
Okay, I've decided to use the possibility to raise some questions here, because you know that we are done with this year, but we have one more year. And originally we've planned 3 workshops and 3 rounds of stipends and everything. And that's something what I've been thinking a lot. And honestly, I did not find an answer. And I even had a dream about it. I had a dream that I went to Ukraine with a group of participants, that we were exploring the topic of media, of responsibility, of propaganda, of war, of queer, etc. And in this dream, I felt myself like a war tourist. So I don't know if you spent some time or if you had the thoughts, but if you did, please share them here, because in January we will meet with all the representatives of partner organizations and individual partners, and we will discuss what should we do. And that would be nice, of course, to have your feedback, because you know that we are not closing the opportunity for people from previous workshops to participate in the future one. So if you've
Artur,
decided
please.
for yourself, if you have this feeling, where is this border in between being a war tourist, being people like going to the middle of very dangerous situation and like being adrenaline someone, but from another side, given an opportunity, especially for people outside of Ukraine, to visit the country and to check what's going on there and report about it. I'm not sure if I was clear with my question, but if you have any thoughts, I'll be very grateful. Thank you.
Artur, please go ahead.
We just now talked a little bit between each other with Anna privately about that topic, so I will be also telling her opinion on that too, with her permission. We think that it's very important to have such events held in our country, and for example, I would have the opportunity to participate, I would. I think that despite all the safety considerations, and of course, like, you need to take them seriously, I think that the risk is still worth taking, because we don't see that many events being held on that topic in Ukraine at the moment. And we think it still be very, very, very important and very beneficial for both Ukrainians and people from other countries who would participate in that workshop. So I definitely would say yes. Unfortunately, cannot participate in that personally because of the studies and because of other obvious reasons. But I think Anna would love to participate if it happens. And I think that it will be a really good opportunity also to see the Ukrainian reality at that moment, specifically in the queer context, which is, I think, a new, interesting, and very deep lens to look at that topic, if that makes sense.
Thank you. I've just seen that Zara added something about background checks of the participants because it might attract parachute journalists. I'm personally not familiar with the term parachute journalist, but that's maybe because I don't have a background in journalism. So
Do
maybe
you
all
want
of
me to
you know.
quickly explain it? I just wrote it in the chat because I feel like I do not have to speak on every single question that is raised. But no, parachute journalism is indeed a term that refers to conflict zones or war zones with big broadcasters, big media companies just sending their people in who literally jump out of the airplane with a parachute to be there for 1 or 2 days, do some sort of reporting, which is mostly based on very spectacular events, very like intense reporting, like very adrenaline based, which usually does not help the locals on site. It does not help the viewers or the audience to actually fully grasp all the levels and facets of the political situation, the problematic of what is reported on. So yeah, indeed, parachute, just you fly in, you jump out of the airplane and you leave like 24 hours later, and in the end you just leave burned soil for all the other journalists that actually want to do thorough, sustainable reporting on a certain topic.
Thank you very
May I
much.
ask a direct question here, like a clarification, please? So do you think in this regard that if we will decide to do you think that would be more fair or right decision to invite freelancers, people who do not have this big media and parachutes behind their shoulders, or what exactly do you mean by pre-check?
I don't think it necessarily is connected to whether someone is a staff writer or not. Also, freelancers can be parachute journalism. I think it's more about the work ethic. Like there are certain people who are freelancers who have content out there that they interviewed the narcos in Mexico, and then all of a sudden they are on the front line in the Ukrainian war zone, and then all again they are in North Korea all of a sudden. So just my advice would be check their content that does already exist, whether they are expert in a certain topic or a certain region, or whether you have the feeling that they're just jumping from spectacular event to spectacular event, and you can probably see by the work that they put out there whether it is in line with how you want the project to go and how you want the publications to turn out. And I think that can also be done additionally, potentially with a personal interview, and you will probably see what the motivation is of this person and what your gut feeling is about them and their work ethics.
Thank you.
So maybe I think this is actually very much connected to this one central thing that I was just starting to talk about, this question of work ethics, of your role as journalists, reporting on topics. And I think that's something that we have been discussing a lot throughout the workshops afterwards, on how can we tell stories, which stories do we actually choose, or like these points that Juri just raised about who do I want to give space to, or who do I want to maybe not present that much because I already have enough space in these topics. And I'm curious on how this whole workshop and this whole experience has influenced, if at all, on your own perception on working with historic topics as a journalist who is probably more working on current issues, especially when we're speaking about queer lives, queer struggles in past and present. Maybe that's something that you have encountered or that you've been also thinking about, because I remember that it has been very, very important to all these exchanges that we actually had. Maybe any of you want to discuss any of this? I would maybe ask the people from Eastern Queerope, maybe one of you wants to speak about this, because I think you've managed very well to use specific forms to combine historic approaches to very much very young audiences with TikTok, with Insta and everything. Maybe you've got some ideas on that.
Manu, do you have something?
Yeah,
Because
I
like
was-
yeah, okay, yeah, go, let's go.
No, I was just looking for you if you have something to add to.
Or both of you can talk if you want.
Thinking. Yeah, I mean, maybe I would talk about the angle that we talk about being able to see the geopolitical context and vagueness of it in some certain regions, and looking rather for what is connecting than what is making differences, if you know what I mean. That we put this big focus on finding the connection when we talk about these topics. Also in there, because like I get away a little bit with my thoughts when you've been speaking mostly about the war tourism, especially in the topics of queerness, because it's what I am seeing recently, also following the situation in Ukraine, that more and more people treat situation as a very touristic one, more than journalistic. And I don't have answers, to be honest, to how to take that topic ethically.
Thank you. Okay, we have 5 minutes left. I think actually this note of looking for connections is something that I would love to have as like some final positive outlook, because you've all already made so many connections and trying to find the connections. And I think queerness can be one of these unifying topics, or not unifying, but at least one of these topics that can bring people together working on different things. And I'm not sure if, yeah, I don't know how to get back from this war tourism topic, to be honest. I'm not sure how to find a nice new word in the very end. But I'm actually very happy to have you all here with us, and to have some of you with us in the next round of stipends, and already have some of the second project here with us, just looking at what you've been doing in the first round. So I'm already seeing this connecting. I'm already seeing this kind of positive outlook that we might have. And I think I would actually bring this to an end here, unless there's someone with an even better word in the ending. I would be very happy to hand this over to, I don't know, maybe Vika wants to say something in the very end.
Well, I just think that I think there is no need to go out from this war tourism topic or support each other topic, because it's all here. And I believe this virtual room, I also hate them people. Yeah, but there is no other way sometimes. I mean, that's exactly what can help us to see each other, to appreciate our work, and to be connected also after all these beautiful programs will be finished, and they will be. I'm extremely honored to work with you all, and I'm very honest now. Thanks for this evening, and let's see each other in other circumstances.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao. Take care.
Take care.
Bye.